soups are loved throughout the Jewish diaspora, and in Russia and Poland, beets or beetroot became popular as borscht. Broadcaster and author Ramona Koval, who's collected her favourite Jewish recipes into a book, remembers growing up with the beetroot soup.
Where other people would say, look, I need a cold beer. That's what would go down well. My father and my mother would both say, let's have a glass of cold borscht. But it's actually terribly refreshing.
Ramona peels beetroot ready for the pot.
Okay, so the beetroot goes in whole, and all you do, you put a little bit of lemon juice in, and that just keeps the colour in for some reason. And then this is a non-chicken stock. If you use chicken stock, you wouldn't put any milk products in at the end of it. And I just cover them actually with water.
The beetroot cooks for 40 minutes until it's tender.
So it is ready for me to chop it up.
The chopped beetroot goes back into the pot with chopped potatoes and onion. And a whole bunch of dill.
Smells fantastic.
She adds some sugar and lemon and some more water to cook for a further hour. Ramona then blends the colourful mixture and serves it. Kosher basically means proper. For a kosher butcher shop, it means a series of strict procedures before the meat can be sold. Tom Rev is one of only 5 kosher butchers in Australia, and there are some key differences from other butcher shops.
We obviously don't have pork.
No.
We have beef, veal, lamb and a lot of poultry. The most important thing that the animal should never suffer during its lifetime and also during the kill process, which is done by a very highly qualified slaughterman who's a rabbi. We're allowed, according to laws from the Old Testament, only from the 12th rib upwards.
So you only buy half an animal?
Correct.
Ah.
Yeah. We must take the blood out. We actually vein the meat when it comes in, and after the veining process, we soak the meat for half an hour in tap water. And then we salt it for an hour with coarse salt. We rinse it off 3 times and then it's ready for sale.
So do you find that as a kosher butcher you're finding equivalents to sausages, frankfurts, dare I say bacon?
Yeah. Well, the smoked brisket, they tell me, sliced thin, which some people call macon or fakin, you know, comes close.
Yeah.
It comes close.
Very few parts of Jewish life are lived without sweets. Cakes are baked to welcome neighbours, comfort bereaved families, sweeten afternoon teas and celebrate religious festivals. There's always a reason to bake and always a reason to eat. In Melbourne's St Kilda area, there are cake shops that celebrate the Jewish baking tradition. Nicky Lashke's father learnt his recipes from his home in Poland. So what are some of the things that are really rooted in the Jewish tradition?
Probably the Polish cheesecake, obviously, because most of the Jews came from Poland originally.
Looks nice and dense.
It is. It's certainly not on the Weight Watchers list. The plum cake as well. When people taste it, they're always impressed.
Wow.
And lastly, but not least, another one of our Polish cakes, which is the chocolate kugelow.
And that one, yeast cake?
That's the yeast-based cake. And this is actually real chocolate, which has been melted and rolled into the pastry. So you actually feel when you bite into it, it's not just cocoa, but chocolate.
Yeah.
Divine.
Very, very addictive.
Indulgent.
Very addictive. Yes. And what's your favourite?
Oh, you know what? If you ask me which is my favourite child, I couldn't tell you. It's the same way as I feel about my cakes.
Batia Slater is always cooking for her family of 5 and many others in the tight-knit Melbourne Orthodox Jewish community.
Well, the orange almond cake I make for Passover, because during Passover you can't use any flour. It's a very warm flavoured type of cake. The oranges and sun, and it's very nice.
Oh, magic. Batia's recipe begins with boiling oranges for 2 hours. She checks eggs for blood spots, which are not kosher,
And then I lift it up. There's no blood there.
and blends them with caster sugar. Then pulverises the oranges, skin and all. Oh, this must be fun.
Okay. Then we add the almond meal, and we can also add baking powder. Good to go. And then you put it in an oven on 190.
And this is so moist and delicious,
Very dense
isn't it?
and
Yeah.
moist cake. It's very moist.
Beautiful. That is stunning.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
What I love about these recipes, okay, rice is good.
Traditionally, Jewish recipes are passed down through the generations, and one's grandmother's recipe was the standard for all others. The kitchen, the place where many of life's lessons as well as recipes are learned.
And they tell their daughter or their granddaughter and they know their version of it, but no one writes them down.
And you don't have measurements, do you?
No, that's the other thing. So the only way to learn that is to go there, watch, measure and try to recreate it yourself.
Okay, you've got 6? We've got 6. Okay.
One, two, three, four.
Every Monday, a group of Jewish women gather to cook up family recipes to determine which is the best for a planned cookbook.
We want stuff with a story or a tradition or a history, something more than just a recipe.
And delicious as well.
Has to be delicious. Has to be. We have to, and I think one of our criteria, we said we have to eat and go, oh, yum, this is really good, you know?
I do that all the time.
This is one of my family's oldest recipes, and it was made in my kitchen from as long as I can remember, walking in on a Friday afternoon. And this is my egg and onion, and of course I think it's the best in the world. And it's so warm and yummy and oily, and it feels beautiful. Do you want to taste it?
That's an yum.
Do you like that? That's yum.
Beautiful.
Let's eat.
Join me online now and chat about tonight's episode.
It's the glue that sticks you together.
It's unbelievable, and every Friday night across Australia, across the world, Jewish families are sitting down together, all of them, and eating dinner. I think that chicken is one of the best.